What is something your therapist said that sticks with you to this day? 1. What was adaptive then is maladaptive now. The tools you used to survive trauma as a kid aren't necessarily healthy as an adult. Gotta learn new skills and use better tools. 2. My husband's therapist phrased it this way: as a kid, you developed superpowers. Those superpowers kept you alive. That constant high alert, listening for dad's footsteps to see if he's mad today, spidey sense? That's what enabled you to hide when you needed to. It kept you from getting hit for many days. Your brain was doing exactly what it needed to do. But dad's not going to walk through that door anymore. So that super sense of being on high alert isn't so helpful anymore. Instead, it's just overwhelming you. While we're grateful you had it when it was needed, it's time to learn to shut it off. That blew his mind. You can be thankful for a tool or skill while recognizing that you need to outgrow it. 3. If you're finding it difficult to put everything in your head down on paper because it's too much, imagine how heavy it must be to carry that around 24/7. I've journaled during my darkest times ever since then. She was right. 4. Yard by the yard, life is hard. Inch by inch, life's a cinch. 5. Comparison is the thief of joy. 6. Everyone is the hero of their own story. 7. You teach people how to treat you. 8. The best predictor of future behavior is past behavior. 9. When someone tells you who they are, believe them. 10. Crap is warm. Meaning people will happily sit in a bad situation because it's comfortable and familiar, even if it's crap. 11. You can't control how people behave. But you can control your distance from them. 12. You don't give yourself enough credit for the things you do achieve. 13. Don't believe everything you think. This mainly addresses stories we tell ourselves about the world, ourselves, and our worth. 14. That anything you tell other people is a choice. You don't have to explain yourself or feel like you have to tell anyone anything. It just helped me as an adult with feeling like I had to tell my mom certain things but more telling her when I wanted to. 15. Prove it. Show me the receipts. If you truly feel this way about yourself and are so sure it's true, then there will be evidence to back it up. There was no evidence. It forced me to face some realities my brain was lying about. 16. The power of and. I can be thankful for surviving the struggles I've experienced and be sad about the losses they caused. 17. You don't give yourself the same grace that you give others. You should be kinder to yourself. 18. Sometimes when you set boundaries for yourself, you almost need to draw a line and then sit there with a shotgun to make sure no one crosses them. But once people learn you're not going to allow anyone to cross your boundaries, they will adjust and stop trying to sneak past them. 19. Everything that you do is to please someone else. You've got to do things for yourself to avoid burnout. 20. That there's no such thing as should. Here shat happened and what's happening, but spending time and energy on what should have happened or what shouldn't have happened takes away from what did happen. 21. Your feelings are valid, but they're not always true. She said it in the context of imposter syndrome and feeling as though I was one wrong move away from losing everything. 22. Everything everybody does is for some sort of payoff. When people deliberately do things to make you crazy, their payoff is that they can make you crazy. They can control you with the simplest little button push. Don't give them their payoff. Either use the gray rock treatment or do something that makes them even crazier. Never be predictable. Never let them know what they are going to get back. That way they can't plan to win. When they respond by getting butt hurt, don't fall into the guilt trap they have set for you. Don't take a defensive approach. Laugh in their face. 23. What are you going to do to make life easier for yourself this week? I inherited this kind of Puritan work ethic, the idea that difficult weeks or lots of work must simply be endured. You put your head down and power through it. It was a change of perspective for me to imagine purposely dropping a responsibility or choosing to schedule time to relax rather than just working harder. It may seem small, but it has honestly changed my life and my attitude. 24. Your fortune telling again. She says this whenever my anxiety starts to spiral and I go on and on talking about everyone else's thoughts and motivations, that I'm completely assuming. Now I hear her voice saying this sentence and it reins me back in and reminds me that I'm doing a lot of mind reading. 25. that both people in a relationship need their tribe and their friends. If they all get along, cool, but if one party is the other's whole world, it put way too much pressure on them and things will unravel fast. 26. Put on your oxygen mask first. I tend to prioritize everyone but myself. Saving others isn't your responsibility. 27. It's okay to feel sad. When you don't feel anything, that's when you should worry. 28. If it won't matter in 5 years, don't waste 5 minutes thinking about it. 29. When you were a child, you were crying out to be taken care of, and nobody did it. That child is still there, but now there is an adult taking care of her. That adult is you. 30. Don't work harder than another person to solve their problems. Still working on this one. 31. Forgiveness isn't for them. It's for you. And you don't owe them a damn thing, even if you do forgive them. 32. Just because they are family, doesn't mean it's healthy. And it's okay to walk away and protect yourself from them. 33. The funniest one during my divorce: you don't ever have to marry or date again, but you said you like sex, so go have some fun and safe sex and enjoy yourself like you haven't before. That way you also aren't bitter or closed off to new experiences if you ever do want something more than dalliances again. God, I loved my therapist. 34. Don't set yourself on fire trying to keep someone else warm. 35. Someone else's struggle doesn't make yours any less difficult. 36. This is specific regarding parenting. You don't have to be a perfect parent to be a good enough parent. 37. The way you do anything is the way you do everything. 38. You cannot heal what you cannot feel. 39. And you may always carry that, but that doesn't mean you have to give it power. 40. Holding on to resentment is like drinking poison and hoping the other person gets sick. 41. Stop chasing after the person you used to be because she doesn't exist anymore, and because she no longer exists, you're always going to be chasing without reaching her. What does exist is a stronger, wiser version of you that need to allow yourself to become. 42. Where do you feel that in your body? This used to annoy me and didn't make sense, but it has helped me over time and often just brings up angry tears I've been suppressing. 43. Normal is not a useful word. 44. Think about what you can control. You can't control what others say or do, but you can control what you do in response. I was depressed about how someone was treating me and it made me feel completely powerless. I felt a little less powerless hearing that. 45. We live in shades of gray. 46. Stop apologizing for everything you do. Apologies should be treated like, I love you. You only say it when you truly mean it to someone else. I suffer from some pretty low self-esteem and apologized for everything all the time. 47. Explaining how I've learned to keep people away so I don't get hurt. Told me the walls that keep bad people away are the same ones that keep the people who will love me out. 48. Just because they're family doesn't mean you owe them anything. 49. Are you tired? I just run a half marathon and thought I should be elated but was feeling kinda down. I was just tired, and it made me look deeper into how my physical state, tired and hungry in this case, affects my emotional state. 50. You need someone who complements your life, not complicates it. It was the wake-up call I desperately needed. 51. He's a good guy. He's just not your guy. My therapist helped me see why it was so hard to let go of a relationship I knew wasn't working. 52. Help always real, but they aren't always right. This always stuck with me and has helped me be less reactive. When I find myself getting reactive, I stop and go, am I tired? Am I thirsty? Am I hungry? If my answer is yes, then I table my emotions until I'm in a clearer mindset and then experience them. It was fantastic for me because I used to hate my emotions and now I know how to deal with them rather than push them down. 53. Regarding parental relationships as a child, you do not need to do anything to be loved. You should never have to earn their love. I think about it very often, and how it now translates into my adulthood and present relationships. 54. Mine said I wear a kick me sign everywhere I go and told me it's time to take it off. He was 100% right. 55. When I went through my first serious breakup as a teen, I had a really hard time letting go of him. My therapist said to think of the situation like holding a rope. The tighter you hang on to it and pull, the more tension you're making that will cause the rope to pull away just as much. Your hand starts to hurt from the grip. You're only hurting yourself from the inevitable. Just let it go. I thought about that for the rest of my life when relationships ended. Never held on after a breakup and never went back. 56. Date your friends. My friendships have become much more full of breakups, going on dates with them and thinking of them sort of like people I'm dating. 57. When I think someone else thinks negatively about me, she would ask me, "Do you have proof of that?" This made me realize it was in my head. 58. Boundaries are the distance by which I can love both myself and you. 59. Do you think maybe you might like the story and idea of being with him more than actually being with him? 60. Imagine a good dad as a grocery store, and being fatherly as apples. Now your dad is a hardware store, and there will never be apples in there. Help me come to peace with how my dad is. He just doesn't have the capacity or understanding of how to be a fatherly figure. There are no more, "why doesn't he," sort of questions, just acceptance. 61. What you know doesn't matter, what you do does. 62. Sarah, if you don't talk, people will think you have nothing to say. Of course, now some folks would probably say I talk too much. 63. My therapist told me a story about two monks headed to a monastery on a trip that took a few days. After a while, they come across a lady on the side of a river who can't cross. One of the monks goes against all his teachings and picks the woman up and carries her across, at a time when it was frowned upon for a monk to do so much as touch a woman. The second monk is constantly thinking for the next few days about whether he should tell the monastery what happened when they arrive. When they're just about to enter, the second monk grabs him on the shoulder and says, "I'm sorry, but I must tell them what you did with that woman." And the first monk replies, "But I put her down at the lake. You have carried her all the way here." That story has stuck with me for most of my life now. Thank you, and continue riding your life like a bicycle. 64. You were hurt by someone else. It wasn't your fault. But it's your responsibility to heal from that. 65. What you allow is what will continue. Crap rocked my core for days. 66. Worrying is like dying twice. 67. Why can't you be the main character in your own life? What is stopping you? I know it might sound corny, but I made the main character joke because I use humor as a coping mechanism. My therapist was on the younger side and just rolled with it and flipped it back on me. Now I remember it every time I start to become passive in my own life. 68. You're allowed to ask, and they're allowed to say no. But you'll never get to yes without asking. 69. The more your self-worth grows, the less tolerance you'll have for bullcrap. 70. But why is that a bad thing, is a line I repeat to myself often now. I get deeply anxious about telling my family what I want to do because I worry that they will come down hard on me. The question helps me reframe my situation. Now, as an adult living independently with a spouse, it's helping me realize that I can be capable of doing things for myself. 71. One step at a time. 72. She said, imagine your problems struggles as a fire pit in front of you. You've spent your whole life going around the fire pit. Now, wouldn't it be a miracle if you walk through the fire pit and come out on the other side alive? Don't be afraid of going through hard things. Going around them makes them grow even bigger. 73. I don't remember it verbatim, but she said that no one cares about you the way that you do. People aren't spending their days judging you, laughing at you, or even thinking about you for more than a fleeting second. It has somewhat helped me with my anxiety issues. 74. You would not talk to your close friends and family the way you talk to yourself and expect them to be better from it. You must try to talk to yourself the way you would talk to them, with encouragement and care, rather than bitterness and frustration. That mindset has helped me in so many ways. Learning not to be my bully has been difficult, but my God has my life changed since I have been kinder to myself. Telling myself it's okay rather than I'm stupid, saying I can try again next time when I fail rather than telling myself I should have known better. It's freeing. 75. Worry less about whether or not he likes you, and more about whether or not you like him. 76. Sometimes, done, is preferable over, done perfectly. 77. People who say they are brutally honest are often more interested in being brutal than being honest. 78. Don't cling to a mistake just because you spent a lot of time and energy making it. 79. He always had a diamond-shaped crystal about the size of a closed fist on his desk. Once I was talking to him about how hard it was for me to talk to other people. I was very broken at the time, and he took the crystal and told me, "Our personalities are like this crystal right here. They have different faces, and if you pay close attention to it, you will notice that the more you focus on one face, the less aware you become of the other ones." 80. Everyone deserves love, but not everyone is entitled to your love. 81. What would happen if you awoke your mind? It hit hard because that's the thing I learned to not do out of fear. Not speak my mind. Stay quiet and agreeable. So I remember it now whenever I'm hesitant about speaking my mind. 82. Peace of mind is more important than winning or proving a point. Let go of trying to convince people, and be alright with them not seeing things how you view them. This will save you so much mental tension and built-up frustration and allow you to have peace of mind. Knowing that you can have a difference of opinion from someone else and move on. 83. You'll never find yourself. You have to create yourself. 84. Confidence is just the ability to sit in comfort with the imperfections.